Welcome into another edition of the Leadership Library, hosted by CEO and author Rocky Romanella. Rocky is the author of the book Tighten the Lug Nuts, The Principles of Balanced Leadership, and has over 40 years of business experience as a prominent member of the UPS Supply Chain Solutions team, as well as the CEO of Unitech Global Services. So sit back, grab your notebook, and take a seat, and get ready for this edition of the Leadership Library.
Welcome to the Leadership Library. I'm your host, Rocky Romanella, with my trusty book, Tighten the Lug Nuts. We're going through the Big Eight. Today we're going to talk about 7 and 8. Just a reminder, I know that we went through 6 different elements to date, 7 and 8 today, all in chapter 16 in the book. So if you want to go back and listen to the podcast, or maybe go into the book and look at chapter 16, we talk a lot more in detail and some more examples on the Big Eight. So let's talk about number 7, less volatile earnings. Well, if you think about it, we talked about a diversified customer base, right? So a diversified customer base gives you an opportunity to have different types of customers, maybe business to business, business to consumer, patients versus doctors, whatever the business that you're in, you get a more diversified customer base, which then protects you from a longer term perspective. The same with earnings, right? You don't want to, the goal would try not to be such high earnings in one quarter versus a second or third quarter. Now, I do understand you're going to have some volatility, but when you have those tremendous spikes, you do put a lot of pressure inside the organization. So for example, when you're thinking about having a very low, let's just say summer period, versus, a beginning of the year when you're doing returns, or, you have some volume from, Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, all those different events that are maybe from a shipping point of view are helping you out, or from a consumer point of view are helping you out. But now you have this summer where it may be much quieter. Those volatile earnings are difficult, right? Because as you run your 13-week cash flow, you might be pretty tight in some of those summer months, and you might be laying people off, you may be reducing the hours, much more than you would have to do if you had less volatile earnings and you had a stronger customer base or some stronger revenues in those non-volatile times. And so this is where some creativity comes in. How do I utilize my assets? Think about landscaping, for example. You're not mowing lawns or trimming or edging or planting trees, but you're doing snow plowing. And so that's how you handle the first quarter, by doing something like that. That's the kinds of concept that you're looking for. How do I utilize my assets of my materials or my equipment, and more importantly, my valued individuals, the people inside my organizations. The most important asset you have as an organization is your people. So how do I keep them working? How do I keep them learning new things? And how do I do maybe some different things that they find exciting that can help me with less volatile earnings, can help my cash flow better, and never put me in that period where you run your 13-week cash flow and things are really tight. Number 8 is one of my favorites, and I began with people and I end with people, which is you want to have the best, the brightest, the most informed, best educated people in the industry. That has to be your passion. You have to attract and retain top talent, and you have to motivate them to want to be the best, the brightest, the most informed, best educated people in the industry. We all know of companies who have, when I was working at UPS and you were looking for top salespeople in the industry, we always believed that ADP trained some of the best salespeople in the industry. If you worked for ADP as a salesperson, you were probably one of the best trained people. We always believed at UPS we had some of the best trained operations people in the industry, from our processes, procedures, industrial engineering procedures that we use. Look, I know I'm saying that because I was a UPSer, so put that on the side. You all know of industries and companies that have world-class reputations for the things that they do and the people that they have. That's what you want in your industry. You want to have the best, the brightest, most informed, best educated people in the industry. And if you say to somebody, hey, I work for so-and-so company, people got to say, oh, I got to tell you, man. Think about it. When people say, when I say it's work for you, those drivers work hard. Some of the best people in the industry. Absolutely. They're the brand. Your people are your brand. They execute your brand. They're your most precious asset. Never lose sight of that. Be safe with your people, make sure they feel valued, and make sure you inspire them to want to be the best, brightest, most informed, best educated people in the industry. That's our Big 8. As I said before, you can find more of this information in chapter 16 of the book, Tighten the Lug Nuts. Be safe, and until we meet again.